If you've got a property that you don't live in every day and you've ever considered remotely getting rid of that thing, you're going to want to watch this clip. Hey, JC Agajaden here, broker associate with the Whistle Realty Group at eXp, and today we're talking about the various ways you can actually defer taxes when selling an investment property. So if you're a landlord, you probably are aware of the 1031 exchange. This is the most commonly used mechanism to defer that capital gains tax and pay it down the road. Of course, you probably know that you have to, within 45 days, name up to 3 different properties, and then within 180 days, close on one of those properties. And in that case, you're transferring your tax base from one property to the next one, and will pay those taxes down the road when you sell that secondary property. While the rule states that you do have to exchange like-kind property for like-kind, it's a little bit looser than you might think. You can buy a commercial property when selling a residential property, or you can buy a multifamily property, or you can buy land. But the only rule is it needs to be real property. It can't be vehicles or other assets. A couple things to keep in mind when doing a 1031 exchange is you can't trade down. You've got to go equal or greater in value when you're making this exchange to a new asset, and you've got to replace the debt you've got. So if you've got a mortgage in place, you're going to need to get a new mortgage in place or be your own lender and use cash on hand. The reason all this works is because of the way the tax code is written, and we actually use a third party named a 1031 exchange accommodator, and they actually hold on to your cash. You never touch it yourself. And because of that, they exchange it for you into that next asset, and you are not burdened with a tax liability. So believe it or not, the 1031 exchange into another piece of real property is not the only option you've got. There are things called syndication groups where you can exchange your single property into a large project that probably would be unaffordable to you, but you can own a piece of it, and you can exchange that money into a syndication project like that. There's also, believe it or not, a way that you can 1031 exchange this money into a life insurance policy, borrow from that policy, end up with roughly 60 cents on the dollar, but you're able to use that money now instead of having to kick the can down the road into another piece of real property. Most important thing to remember is that you have options as a seller of an investment property, but most importantly, you've got to make sure you connect with someone who's experienced and has dealt with these types of transactions in the past, because there are a lot of moving parts. If you're interested in getting a referral to a fantastic exchange accommodator, I'd be happy to provide you one. Or if you've got any other questions surrounding the topic, I'm happy to chat. You can hit me up right here.